Well, hello there all you absolutely magnificent people, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays. We'll be starting our playthrough in Windrose. So for those of you who don't know, this is a pirate-themed survival crafting game. It is a single-player and co-op game with up to 4 people playing together, and well, this is going to be a lot of fun. Of course, we're going to do an ecological playthrough, and we're going to try and not kill everything on the islands, and we are going to be discussing a whole bunch of interesting ecological themes, like for example island biogeography, and how species are able to disperse from one island to another. We're going to look at the effects of isolation on animals and plants, and of course we are going to be all the while attacking Blackbeard's pirate ships. So without any further ado, let's jump right into Windrose with me, Will, from An Ecologist Plays. And here we go, here I am, this is my little character here, and this is our starter island. Now I have completed most of the first part of the game, the first little tutorial of how to build a little base and stuff like that, and this is it at the moment, but we are going to be moving it. I don't want to continue building here for many reasons. Amongst other things, I don't want to build right next to the ocean. That is not an ecologically friendly way of doing things. I would prefer being a little bit more inland, away from the beach area, because building right here would actually affect the ecology of the sandy shore here. And additionally, you wouldn't build your house on the sand here, right? Because tides would be a thing, and whenever there is a storm, your whole base would just be flooded and or destroyed. And we are in an area that would experience quite harsh storms. We are in a tropical area. You can see palm trees dominating the shore. Well, that is generally a good indication that you are in a more tropical environment, so you probably shouldn't be building right on sea level. We are going to have to make our fast travel point over here, and unfortunately that means that every time we travel to our island we will need to run inland to actually get to where our base is. But you know what, for an ecological playthrough that is fine. And if we look at the island, this is what we know so far. We know there's a little point of interest here and 4 other points of interest on the island. And I do love the way that you level up. Instead of getting experience for killing things, you actually get experience for discovering these points of interest and exploring them fully. So that is exactly what we are going to be doing. I believe this is our first point of interest right over here. And we get a halberd, so you get a random weapon from this. You get a lamp, and we got a blurry sketch of the island. And this blurry sketch of the island is actually quite interesting. It mentions the wind howling, so yeah, we are in an area that experiences storms, and very severe storms at that. And it tells us that there's some gold buried somewhere as well. So we are going to be putting that in our journal, and that's going to give us a quest to also, right over there, dig up a dead man's chest. We're not going to do that yet. That is a level 2 quest, and we are just level 1 now. And as you pick up new things, you unlock these discoveries. And as you can see here, we still have some key discoveries missing that we can see here, at least what some of them are, and some major discoveries and other resources from this coastal jungle biome that we have yet to discover. Now what I'm going to be doing now is just looking for an area to place down my pier, and the way I'm going to do this is to just do what a good friend of mine does whenever he visits a new island, just run around the outside as well, trying to map the shoreline of said island. So let me quickly do that, and while I'm doing that I'm going to chop some of the shipwrecks as well, because that will give us wood and potentially some nails as well, as you can see there. I'm just quickly interrupting this video to thank all of you for watching it and supporting the channel that way. And a special shout out also goes to Ranger Robin 117, who is the first An Ecologist Plays channel member. They've actually been able to watch this video a week ahead of everybody else, as per the perks of channel membership. So if you want to support the channel in an additional way, check out channel memberships. I've tried to make them as affordable as possible, and every bit helps in these difficult times. Also, go check out Ranger Robin's channel. They have some awesome videos over there. And now, back to the video. Now on the shore here we can also see some scavengers running around here, so these would be some kind of crab, and you can see it collecting some sand there with its pincers and then bringing it to its mouth. What it's doing there, it is trying to filter out some food particles. It's rubbing its eyes as well. It's trying to filter out some food particles from the sand. It's a way of feeding. There we go, eating again right over here. So not sure what species these are, however we are going to be collecting one of them just for some food for a little bit later. Again, the idea is we are trying to be as ecologically friendly as possible, so we are not going to catch all the crabs we find. We are just going to harvest some of them and hopefully leave enough to actually support the population so they can recover from our harvesting. They're not really rare, so we can harvest some of them without feeling guilty. Well, there's something blue up ahead. Oh, I thought it may have been the misty orchid, but no, in fact there is a big blue bird running around right up there, and that is the Azure Dodo. Now, the Azure Dodo is a bigger relative in the game here of the normal dodo, and it is also aggressive. It is very territorial, so we are going to be having a look at them in a little bit. I'm just going to try and avoid it. If it comes for me, I am obviously going to attack it then. Now, with most of the animals, we are going to try and harvest them sustainably. The one exception are the boars, because boars are not native to this area. So we are going to be trying to eliminate them. So yes, we are going to be as ecological as possible, but in order to conserve nature, we have to take out these boars and sows, and wow, they do pack a punch. So sometimes to try and conserve nature, we have to kill certain nature. Now, we did get rough hide from that sow that we killed, and that is of course going to be very useful for making armor as well as a backpack to carry more things. Now, if you listen carefully, you can hear the gulls calling, and we're like, okay, well, there are no gulls around here, but right over there in the water you can see some debris floating around, some flotsam, and circling above it you can see the gulls there, or at least the seabirds. So I'm pretty sure those are gulls right there. And here we go, the first bit of exploration is done, and perfect timing, right as the sun is setting. So there we go, that brings an end to the first day on this island. And well, I think we've done well. We have explored the first little bit over here. Now, one of these two would most likely be a mine. I think it is that one over there. And then we've got a ruin over there, a little traveler's camp over there, and probably another ruin up there. We'll go head over to those tomorrow. For now, though, we are just going to be crafting a... Oh, there's a boar. Okay. Well, I'm probably going to die. Now, where is it? Here, piggy. There's that boar. Now, the trick is to try and take it nice and steady. Not to overcommit. They can be very dangerous. So you whack it a few times and then you avoid the attack. And you whack it and you avoid the attack, or you block. And if you just take it slow and steady, you should at least stand a chance. And there we go. The real reason I came here is actually because I want to just build a temporary shelter. So let me just put some torches down, so at least we have some light here. And there we go, our first very crude shelter. And the reason we have this little shelter here is just so we can place a bed down, set that as our revival point, and more importantly, sleep through the night. And this is not going to be our main base. We are going to be building that somewhere else. And looking at where, I'm leaning towards that area right over there. That is a nice calm bay. It's relatively sheltered. I don't think there's a great chance of pirate ships actually coming into that area. I mean, if we're right here on the cape over here, pirate ships will come past here. Like, we did see quite a few of them actually passing on the horizon, so along there, and sometimes they come up right next to the coast here. So I don't want to build over there. I would rather build in a more sheltered environment, like for example up there. Additionally, there are some ruins over there, and I can see we could potentially harvest some dodo eggs from there, as well as healing herbs, which is a nice resource to get, and those resources there will respawn. And then before we head out, let's just quickly make a stone pickaxe. Ooh, another resource, cayenne peppers. Oh man, lovely. I'm just going to harvest, I think, 4 of these cayenne pepper bushes. Of course, the cayenne we can use to make some very nice food here. Amongst other things, spicy chicken with sweet potato. The chicken there being Dodo. And then sweet potato. We haven't gotten sweet potato yet. I think they should be on the island. Ooh, hello Dodo. Speaking of dodos. I'm not going to be hunting this one now. It's not attacking me, so not going to be defending myself against them. But look at this. Look at how big they actually were. So yeah, this is a right size comparison here. You think of dodo as being like smaller. This is massive. This is the right size. And I love the fact that, you know, looking at the coloration here, they actually have it, as far as we know, quite spot on. They often are depicted as these little white birds, or very light grey, but they most likely were a darker grey colour, perhaps almost leaning towards a little bit browner. They had this naked face, this face mask here, And notice at the tip of the bill, right over there, they have that weird little section of their bill, the keratinized section. So a section there with more keratin in it. That gives you indication of what bird family the dodos belong to. The Columbidae, doves and pigeons. So this was a large flightless pigeon. So why were they flightless, and why is this one not running away from us? That's because they were isolated on islands. And if you are on an island, there generally are fewer predators than on the mainland, resulting in a loss of fear. It's also known as predator naivete or prey naivete, where they don't recognize certain animals like humans, rats, cats, dogs, pigs, whatever we bring in, as predators. So they don't have that correct fight or flight response to predators. Because they simply don't recognize us as being dangerous. So that's part of the reason why they went extinct. Because, well, humans could easily hunt them. They could just walk up to them and kind of club them. Now, that does not mean that they did not defend themselves. And people tend to think, oh no, they were just useless. They would just take it. But that's not really the case. There are reports of them actually fighting back. So once they realize that, oh goodness, I'm being attacked here, they would attack you. They could use their bill as a defense, and they could be not very aggressive, but surprisingly aggressive. But it was not enough to save them. And yes, I said that part of the reason why they went extinct is because we as humans hunted them. But the other part was, well, these guys, pigs, that were brought onto the islands along with humans. And they were arguably a bigger threat than just human hunting. Because, yeah, humans did eat the eggs as well, but feral pigs could go into more remote parts of the islands. They could go all over the island, really, and decimate the population. They ate the adults, they ate the chicks, they ate the eggs. They, along with cats and dogs and rats. Oh, hello, Fiddler. We are under attack by these guys. They decimated the dodo population very, very badly. Anyway, so as I was saying, pigs had a massive impact on the dodo population and on many other animals on islands. But we'll get back to why the dodos became flightless, probably in the next episode. For now, though, let's eat another coconut and go take on these piggies. There we go. There are 3 sows over there. Oh, goodness. This is probably going to end very poorly for Will here. And now we've got a whole sounder of them coming after us. Let's just head a little bit into the open here. Okay, we've got 2 coming after us. One dead, and there we go. The second one down. And now there was the third one. There we go, I think I spotted up ahead. And you can see here how difficult it is. Oh, there are 3 more here. You can see how difficult it is to try and control pigs in a jungle environment. They just disappear into the dense forest. 3 down. There we go. And don't worry, Coastal Dodo, you are perfectly fine. You are safe. We're establishing a little dodo sanctuary on this island, it seems. Oh, we can make some coconut soup here. This is going to be marvelous. Because it lasts 15 minutes, it increases our maximum health, and it gives us 5 agility. And that 5 agility is very, very important. Because our weapon here, the broken blade, which is not one we really want, but anyway, it uses agility to do damage. So the higher your agility is, the more damage you will do. We're just taking a shortcut through the jungle here. We actually want to build my base, and that is right up here. Oh, there are some Azure Dodos right over there. Okay, I don't want to build it right here. Just want to have it far enough from Azure Dodos so they don't attack us the whole time. And I don't want to displace them either. Just for me to build my base. I think this spot over here is actually a good place to build. We've got the Calm Bay over here from where we can hopefully launch our ships. This nice island I see right over there on the horizon. So that's nice as well. We're going to explore that one, I think, next time as well. It's also a relatively open spot, this, so we don't even have to chop down trees to make room for our base. We just need to clear the undergrowth here, and you know what, I'm fine with that. So I'll be placing down a fast travel point. We can only place that right next to the water here. And we're going to place that right over here. And we're going to have our bonfire right over here. I believe the bonfire will prevent enemies from spawning in this area. And objects will also be taken out of chests in that radius, so that's also nice. And I think this will be it. This will be the area, at least for now. It's going to be the maximum area that we clear. So there we have our foundation, and we have officially run out of resources. So yeah, so I'm going to carry on building that a little bit off screen. Well, we are under attack by Azure Dodos. Yeah, here they come. So let's just actually beef ourselves up a bit here. We are going to be defending ourselves. I did not want to attack them unnecessarily, although, yeah, if we were to go to those ruins, we would have to defend ourselves against them. You can see they're using their beak to really do quite a bit of damage, and using their wings, not so much to attack us, although they do sometimes do that, but using their wings to steer while running, and just flap furiously at us. Look at that gape, look at that mouth there, open, trying to seem as intimidating as possible, and using their powerful feet there in a nice kicking motion as well. Now, I don't know whether Dodos were actually able to kick like that, but again, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, if you are in a desperate situation, you tend to do what you can to try and survive. Now, not too far from our base here, we have found some more sweet potatoes, and we have found another boar as well. So we may as well take him out for the good of the Dodo colony. Again, just slow and steady wins the race and the fight. Oh, I see some sneaky sows trying to escape. Or at least one sow. I have killed the rest of the sounder, I think. Yeah, I think that was the last one. So as much as it sounds counterintuitive for a conservationist / ecologist to go and kill all the pigs they can find, this is for conservation. Because as mentioned, the boars here weren't naturally found on these islands. They never really made it over to any of these islands. So not in the Caribbean, not in Mauritius or Seychelles or any of those areas north of Madagascar where species like the dodo used to occur. And as a side note, that's something we tend to not think about. Dodos didn't actually occur on the islands where this game is set. They did not occur in the Caribbean islands. Instead, they were found to the north of Madagascar. So technically, I should be eradicating the dodos as well, because technically they are also exotic. But you know what? There is a way we could see this working. We could see this as, sometime a long time ago in history, a population of dodos somehow ended up on the Caribbean islands, possibly rafting over, although, sheesh, that is a long way to travel from Mauritius, but let's say they somehow rafted over to the Caribbean islands. And this would have been a very long time ago. Long enough for that one species of dodo to actually split into two. To split into the coastal dodo, still resembling the dodo of old, but also turning into the Azure Dodo that we also have on the island here. The blue and more aggressive one that we have on the island. Let's just actually clear the ruins here. Just make sure that we're not attacked while exploring it. I think there is another Azure Dodo at the back there, but oh, there's something attacking me. There we go, there is an Azure Dodo right over here. So we are going to again defend ourselves here. Now, whether this is a different species or sexual dimorphism, with this being a male and the female being the smaller, duller one, that is a question. But I don't think it is the case. I think we have got two different species. Otherwise, I also would have called it male and female dodo. But notice the difference here. It is interesting to note that it is an interspecies colony here. We've got two species then nesting together. The Azure Dodo definitely being the more aggressive of the two, but even the coastal dodo trying to hold its own against threats like us. And yeah, it does make sense that they would try to defend their nests against things threatening their chicks and eggs. We are not going to destroy this nest. Most of these eggs we will not harvest because, yeah, dodos, as you can see here, they nested on the ground and they only laid one egg at a time. Some of these nests have two eggs. So in those cases, we are going to harvest an egg but leave the other one. Now, unfortunately, the adults have now been killed, but I'm pretty sure that in this case, at least, in the game, there will be other adults popping up. But ecologically speaking, these eggs are now doomed, because traditionally they would actually need the adults to incubate them. Ooh, they're going to just go to waste. That's a waste of resources. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go against my ecological creed here and harvest these eggs. They wouldn't survive in any case. We may as well put them to better use. Oh, there's a dodo still here. You're going to have a nest, right? Let's just check. Let's just double check whether there are any other normal dodos here, because if there are, we can leave more than one nest. No, that does seem to be the only dodo in the vicinity here. Maybe some did go out foraging, looking for food. So I'm going to leave that nest there. Going to leave that nest there. And for you, we are going to leave this egg over. This one I'm going to take. That one I'm going to leave for you. Okay, incubate it. Breed more dodos. So hopefully we did not wipe out the entire colony. We're going to just take what is in the ancient chest there, and then break through here, because we are going to be heading in there, and facing some drowned, which are basically like zombies. Again, we just have to be careful. They are potentially very dangerous, but they are relatively slow moving. Okay, you know what. Just as I say that, I get attacked. But they're relatively slow moving, and as long as we don't rush in, we can defeat them relatively alrightly. Alright, that's actually quite light in here still. For some reason, my game is seeing the underground areas as surprisingly light. We're just going to grab these healing herbs. That's going to be very, very useful later, and these healing herbs will respawn. So we can, in future, run in, grab the healing herbs, and run out. We then also don't have to disturb the dodos on top. We can leave them be. So next time I come to this ruin, I'm just going to leave the poor little dodos alone. Now, as you can see there, our quest is to craft new boots. However, we can actually craft all 5 armor pieces. We have enough hide to do all of that. And we're going to be storing the old armor, not to use later on, but to disassemble once we can build a disassembly table, because I don't want to waste any resources. And you know what? That is where we're going to end today's episode, everybody. Next time we're going to head on over to the mine. We're also hopefully going to start sailing a little bit, possibly to that island we saw on the horizon. So if you've got any questions or comments or anything you'd like to see me do in this playthrough, please pop them down in the comments below. Hope you had fun. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and share with your friends and family. And until next time, everybody, thanks for joining. Stay safe. I'll see you all soon. Cheers!